more than a century, one narrow strip of water has quietly controlled the rhythm of global trade. The Suez Canal, a man-made marvel carved through the desert of Egypt, has been the invisible engine powering the modern world. Every day, massive cargo ships carrying everything from oil to electronics pass through this corridor, connecting Asia to Europe in a way that reshaped history. Without it, ships would have to travel thousands of extra kilometers around Africa, wasting time, fuel, and money. It is not just a canal, it is a lifeline. But in 2026, something unexpected is unfolding. A silent transformation is taking place far away from the heat of the desert, in the freezing, unforgiving waters of the Arctic. This is the story of a new route. A dangerous route. A route that could change everything. As global temperatures rise, Arctic ice is melting faster than scientists once predicted. What was once a solid, impenetrable frozen barrier is now opening up, revealing a path that had been hidden for centuries. This path is called the Northern Sea Route. Stretching along the northern coast of Russia, this route connects Asia to Europe in a way that is significantly shorter than the traditional path through the Suez Canal. At first glance, this might not seem like a big deal. After all, new trade routes have been discovered throughout history. But this one is different. This one is faster, dramatically faster. A journey that takes nearly 30 to 35 days through the Suez Canal could be reduced to just 18 to 20 days through the Arctic. That's nearly a 40% reduction in travel time. For global shipping companies, this is not just an improvement, it's a revolution. Time is money. And in global trade, even a single day saved can mean millions of dollars in profit. Now imagine saving 2 weeks. Suddenly, the Arctic doesn't look like a frozen wasteland anymore. Russia has been the first to move aggressively. For years, it has invested billions into Arctic infrastructure, building nuclear-powered icebreakers, modern routes, and even military bases along its northern coastline. These icebreakers are not ordinary ships. They are floating giants, capable of smashing through thick layers of ice to keep trade routes open even in harsh conditions. Russia understands something very clearly: whoever controls the Arctic route could control the future of global trade. And it's not alone. China has also entered the game. Calling it the Polar Silk Road, China sees the Arctic as an extension of its global trade ambitions. It has partnered with Russia, investing in shipping projects, energy exploration, and Arctic research. For China, this route is more than just a shortcut, it is a strategic advantage. It reduces dependence on traditional routes like the Suez Canal and avoids potential geopolitical choke points. Now, think about what this means for the rest of the world. The Suez Canal has always been one of the most critical choke points in global trade. In fact, the world got a shocking reminder of its importance during the Ever Given Suez Canal blockage, when a single ship got stuck and blocked the canal for 6 days. That one accident caused billions of dollars in losses and disrupted supply chains across the globe. It showed just how fragile global trade can be when it depends too heavily on a single route. Now imagine a world where the dependency disappears. If the Arctic route becomes reliable, companies will have a choice. They won't be forced to go through the Suez Canal anymore. They can choose a faster, potentially cheaper path. And when companies have choices, power shifts. The Suez Canal generates billions of dollars in revenue every year, money that supports the country's economy. A significant drop in traffic could create serious financial challenges. Entire industries that depend on the canal could be affected. Jobs, infrastructure, national income, all of it tied to this single waterway. But before we declare the end of the Suez Canal, there's something important to understand. The Arctic is not a normal shipping route. It is unpredictable. It is dangerous. And it is still largely underdeveloped. Unlike the calm, regulated waters of the Suez Canal, the Arctic is wild. Ice conditions can change rapidly. Weather can turn deadly within hours. Navigation is extremely complex, and even the most advanced ships can struggle in these conditions. One mistake could lead to disaster, and rescue operations in such remote areas are incredibly difficult. There's also the issue of infrastructure. The Suez Canal is supported by decades of development, ports, maintenance systems, traffic control, and global cooperation. The Arctic, on the other hand, is still in its early stages. While Russia is investing heavily, it still lacks the scale and reliability needed to fully replace traditional routes. And then, there is the biggest concern of all, the environment. The Arctic is one of the most fragile ecosystems on Earth. Increased shipping activity could have devastating consequences. Oil spills, pollution, and disturbances to wildlife could accelerate environmental damage in ways that are difficult to reverse. Ironically, the same climate change that is opening this route is also being worsened by the increased activity it invites. So now the world faces a dilemma. Do we embrace this new route for its efficiency and economic benefits? Or do we protect the fragile Arctic environment and stick with traditional systems? The answer is not simple. Because this is not just about shipping routes. This is about power. Throughout history, control over trade routes has defined global dominance. From ancient spice routes to modern shipping lanes, those who control the flow of goods often control the flow of wealth and influence. The Arctic is becoming the next chapter in this story. And the race has already begun. Countries are mapping the seabed, claiming territories, and strengthening their presence in the region. Military activity is increasing. Alliances are forming. What looks like a simple shipping shortcut is actually the center of a growing geopolitical competition. So, is this truly the end of the Suez Canal? Not yet. The Suez Canal still has advantages that the Arctic cannot easily replace. It is stable, well-developed, and accessible year-round. It does not require specialized ships or extreme risk management. For many companies, reliability is more important than speed. But its dominance is no longer guaranteed. The Arctic route is not here to completely replace the Suez Canal, at least not in the near future. But it doesn't need to. Even a partial shift in global trade could have massive consequences. A 10% or 20% reduction in traffic could already change economic dynamics. And over time, as technology improves and ice continues to melt, the Arctic route will only become more viable. What we are witnessing is not the sudden collapse of one system, but the gradual rise of another. A shift. A transition. A new era of global trade. And in this new era, the map of the world may look the same, but the paths that connect it will be completely different. So the next time you order something online, or see a product labeled made in China, or shipped from Europe, take a moment to think about its journey. Because in the near future, that journey might not pass through the deserts of Egypt. It might travel through frozen oceans, guided by icebreakers, navigating one of the most extreme environments on Earth. And when that happens,